You know, music is considered an expression of emotion, and expressing yourself through music is a great outlet. But then when you have a partner, you also need to express yourself with your partner. It's time for relationship, everyone. And expressing yourself in terms of being vulnerable with your partner is where we're going next. We have Aremo Lalekon Oluwatobi here. He's a certified relationship and marriage coach. And he has dedicated a lot of time to coaching and mentoring many people in the matters of love, relationships, and marriage. He runs the Marriage Academy, where he and his wife offer premarital marriage education for intending and married couples. And let's talk about learning to be more vulnerable. Okay, let's even define vulnerability if we can.
Okay. Vulnerability has different sides to it. But I would say generally that vulnerability is the ease with which you can expose yourself to your partner. Yeah, so exposure.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Exposure just feels like something that the average Nigerian, okay, well, let's say Nigerian man,
Okay.
quote,
Okay.
is, you know, sometimes discouraged from doing.
Yeah.
And when I say exposure now, I'm not saying physical exposure. I'm talking
Yeah.
about exposing your
Emotional.
emotions or even your finances, or truth about your past.
Yeah.
And this all
Exposure.
leans into being more vulnerable.
Yes. Yes. It's very important because vulnerability is one of the bedrocks that will make marriages and relationships even stand the test of time.
Okay.
Okay. And one of the key things, I think one of the key things that is important to learn or to build vulnerability, I believe the first thing is first that both parties must understand that we are a team.
Okay.
So when they understand that we are a team, that way we can learn to be open with one another or be more exposed to one another. Okay, imagine a football team.
Okay.
There's a striker, there's a midfielder, there's a defender.
Yeah.
Somehow, every one of them understand their strength. The midfielder knows the striker that can run well, how well he can run, or how, if he's not a good runner, then the midfielder knows how to be able to make up for that shortcoming. Why? Because we are a team and we have to be there for one another. But if we are not exposed to ourselves, we're not vulnerable on ourselves, how do I know where to be strong for you? Okay, so understanding that we are a team is one of the key things that if you want to learn or build vulnerability, both parties have, and I said both parties because if it's one party that has that mentality, it will be difficult until the next person catches up. Okay. But when both of them can have that, it will make a lot of difference.
I love the analogy you used, the football analogy you're using here, especially working as a team.
Yeah.
Especially since a team is supposed to work towards scoring goals.
Yes.
Right?
Which is the common goal.
Which is the common goal. So I feel like some relationships, some partners don't even have a common goal to begin with.
Yes.
They don't know what direction they're going in.
Yeah.
They don't know where they're striking at. Some people might be striking own goals. Okay, let's let the football analogy go. But some partners are going in different directions because they've decided not to share, with their partner enough to be vulnerable with them.
Yes, so the other thing I was going to say is I think people need to build what I call a OT relationship.
Okay.
Okay, now it's an acronym, A and OT, but let me start with H. Okay. H implies honesty.
Okay.
Okay. Honesty is when you can say the truth when something is asked. Say a question is asked. Okay. You went to see Shade. Where did you go? I passed by Shade's house. Okay. They are two different things. Okay. Honesty is saying I went to see Shade. Okay, that is honesty. Now, some partners have a problem with being honest with their partner. Okay. Either because they think that they're going to take advantage of it, or even with finances, for example. Okay. Someone is earning, say, $10,000, but you say you're earning $1,000, just so that
they're less vulnerable.
Yes. Okay. So there's honesty is very important. Okay. Another very important thing is openness. Now openness is the ease with which your partner can speak with you about sensitive things. That's openness. Okay. Some partners are not open with one another, so it's difficult for even a party A to speak with party B about something that is sensitive to them. So if, for example, For some men, money is a sensitive conversation.
Yeah.
Family, their mothers, for example.
Yeah.
And that's sensitive conversation.
Big one, yeah.
Okay, so the mother reaches the wife and speaks roughly to her. Now, the wife wants to share this with the husband, but she knows that her husband is not open enough to hear this thing. And usually what happens is she keeps it in, and then it grows resentment in her. And then that can lead to communication breakdown, and then the relationship is in trouble. So openness is a very important thing. And then transparency. Transparency is even offering information you are not asked, which is where things like talking about some of the elements of your past.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even if she didn't ask,
If you're not
share it.
asked, yes, share. Okay, it's always important because people like, but you didn't ask. But I did not ask. Now it's affecting us. Okay, so don't consciously choose not to withhold information from your partner. You need to be transparent enough to share with them even things that they did not ask for. And then A is accountability.
Okay.
Partners must learn to be accountable to one another. And one of the key elements of that is communication. You need to talk, okay? This is where I have messed up. This is where I'm excited. This is where, share a 360 experience of your life. Let them understand it. That way, what happens is they know how you feel about different things in life, and they can always be there to help you experience it. If, for example, someone knows that you have a past, say, of being abused, for example, and that every time you see a certain kind of man, there's a way that you get anxious.
Okay.
What happens is, so you guys are at a dinner, and then a kind of man like that is approaching you. Now, because he does not know, suddenly you begin to get anxious.
Yeah.
He's asking you something, you say, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
And he's wondering, how did you go from laughing with me, he doesn't have an idea,
Yeah.
and then he's upset because you came here to have a great time, but why are you like this? But if he was aware, he can see trouble coming and he can protect you as well. So actually, there's more advantage of being vulnerable to whatever disadvantage that people might say there is.
So where do you feel like this vulnerability should begin from? Do you think this is something that should grow from when you're a young person, a child, or with a family? Is this something that is taught?
Okay.
Or is this something that you just learn over time?
I think it's both things, nature and nurture. Some families encourage their children to be vulnerable to them, and that's very good. But for many people, actually, I think that they have to learn it. Our environment particularly, does not encourage us to be vulnerable. So you have to learn it because it's very important.
I think this particular conversation has hit home with quite a few people this morning, especially myself. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Remo. All right, so vulnerability with your partner, that's the question on the table today. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and let us know what you think. Let's take a quick break and be back with more.